I'm good. How are you?
Okay, where you headed?
We are visiting the Pittsburgh Leadership Foundation.
Okay, floor number 6.
Floor number 6. 625. All the way up.
That door was like,
yeah.
Wizard of Oz.
It's like, what? Live.
Live.
I think we sold like 6 tickets in the last 24 hours. 2 or 3 to the Going Deep Summit, and then 2 or 3 to the Instagram workshop we're doing, which is just crazy because all I did was like post about it one more time. And what we're doing is we're doing $5 off to the Instagram workshop if you have a ticket to Going Deep Summit 2.0. So, money. What's up, man?
I heard about you guys on the internet.
Good to see you.
How you doing, bud? Good to see you. So why Piper? Let me interview you guys now.
Yeah.
This is
Can I put the camera on you guys?
Sure. Oh, what I'm
Why Piper Creative? Let me just rapid fire questions.
What we're supposed to say is that it's like the Pied Piper will get you followers.
All right, Pied Piper, I like it.
But so when we were like kind of workshopping it, we were talking more meta first, and Hannah made the really good point of doing something that's very short, snappy, doesn't have like a strong correlation already, like it's not like you hear it and you already think of something. And so given that kind of framework, I've always wanted to name like a team the Pittsburgh Pipers as an allusion to the 1968 basketball, or 58? 68.
I think it was 60.
68. The Pittsburgh Pipers won the first season of the ABA. And
How do you know that? Like, is your dad a big basketball guy? Is your family? Like, how do you know that?
My great uncle played at the University of Duquesne and played against the guy who ended up being like the Pipers' best player.
My granddad played at the University of Duquesne.
It's weird. So there's like all these different through lines. So what I also liked about it was that it's an allusion to Pittsburgh, but it's not like we're the Pittsburgh Media Group or something, and then it's like we're that, or like Steel Town Media, something like that.
To our roots to Pittsburgh, but still be like Piper. You don't think of anything when you hear the word Piper, so we just have all this space
to work with.
Make it our own.
And it's flexible because like in the future, you know, Piper apparel, Piper events, Piper blah blah blah.
Yeah, I like it. I like when you guys talked about you're still being honest about your side hustles.
Yeah.
You know, I think people need that. They need to know that. I love that.
Well, that's also, we think, our unfair advantage is that like all the other characters that are doing stuff like this, they're in like the 4th, 5th, 6th inning. And not that there isn't something interesting there, but the fact that we'll have it from the jump means that there's like a greater levity whenever we are in our 5th, 6th inning, because you've seen that entire journey, as opposed to like, well, let me tell you how it was, as opposed to this is what it was.
Yeah. So what can I do? How can I contribute?
Well, obviously you
got this down.
as a camera guy.
I want to do a documentary of you guys filming a vlog.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Because Ashley, she's been taking the photos of me, taking video of him.
Girlfriend, Ashley?
Yeah.
What's her skill? What is she?
She's a senior stylist at Stitch Fix, so her main thing is like fashion and aesthetics.
Okay.
And I've like basically told her like, you know, it'd be really sweet if you like learned how to use the camera. She's learning slowly.
Yeah. You have a lot of people with like skills already, like talking, like guys like me, like camera people coming in, audio people.
I actually just got 2 messages from people. I didn't even tell him this yet. I got 2 messages from fellow photographers who want to be HP for a day. We're calling it. I have a couple people interested in that, but in terms of like interns and creative talent who are actually going to produce the work for us, we do have some interest.
A bunch of interns from like CMU who are interviewing over the next week or so, yeah.
But I'm doing this little side project right now. This is sweet. This is a sweet lens. So this lens here, it only does one thing though. That's it. And what it does, it's shooting at 1.2, so I can get one thing sharp and focused.
Yeah.
But the background distorts.
Right.
So beyond like the normal blur, it kind of distorts it. it takes the background. That's not a really good example. I need to find a better example. That's what I've been playing with.
I feel like the title of this episode could be The Man with the Golden Camera.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go see Dan. What he's doing is he has 068 in Pittsburgh, and then you know what 068 is?
Yeah.
He has the associated number for like Atlanta, DC, Portland,
Really?
and it's gonna scale that out to a bunch of other cities. That, opens up the opportunity for our type of services. That is where we get in because we're the documentary as a service people. We're the documentarians. We're the people who meet that. And then the flip side, just like how we have This Is Piper, that was Piper, it's you're gonna wish that was documented. I'm so glad that was documented. Doing the vlog of the company. We're helping people with Instagram accounts, podcasting, and blogging, and trying to make some moves.
Want to help us?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
Word.
Kind of what you guys are doing are the most appealing. I think it's the most trending, what people want.
Yeah.
Originally, if you had a post and you were killing it. Then you had to have a post with a picture because they got clicked on more. And then you have to have a post with a video because they get clicked on. Now it's just video. It's like,
Yeah.
So I think we need to just be there. I've been intentionally filming and B-rolling and creating vlogs, but I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to create a compelling story outside, in it. I'm a wordy person.
Yeah.
The talent hasn't shown up, and we've interviewed people, we've talked to people, but
Yeah.
I can't train someone to tell our story at this point. Like someone's got to intrinsically know it, has to gel with their current values, not pretend they understand. I think you guys, I don't know you, but I have a pretty good hunch if you're working with this guy, you're probably all right.
Yeah. Talk me through, you talked about Atlanta, Portland, DC the last time
we talked about
or am I-
Portland. That didn't pan out.
Okay.
Signed is DC, Northern Virginia. It's one office, that location, and Atlanta. Those are real. Every office has a founding partner that's a majority owner.
Okay.
We want local buy-in at the top. We don't want to be scaling Pittsburgh's model to Northern Virginia. It won't work. There's its own culture, its own problems, its own bias they have to overcome, and its own services that are willing to be a part of the solution. To recreate this, it needs to be the spirit of what we're about, with best practices which are universal. But the marketing and the local face and the story needs to be their story, not our story. When I started 068, I had to go to the feds and say, "Will you let me start a business?" They had to say yes. Can I go get credit? Yes. Oh, and by the way, my business is surrounded about helping other people from my situation, so can I associate with felons? A big no-no. And they said yes. So if they didn't have that buy-in, it wasn't going to happen. You hear my CFO back there, he's back in the office. That was a recent acquisition that we needed. We needed a solid CFO.
Yeah.
Now it's getting pretty real.
Yeah.
I thought it was simple with 13 companies. New industries, new laws. Our attorney group has expanded. And no one knows. Because we don't tell our story.
Yeah, zero.
I think it's a compelling story.
Why'd you switch it to zero model from 068?
Well, we have to create a national brand rather than dilute ourselves.
Okay.
So 068 will always be 068. We'll be doing things localized about 068. And 083 will do their own, 020 will do their own. These numbers, represent their cities.
And they tend to all start with zero?
Start with zero.
Okay.
We do a play on it. A bunch of people get out of prison, they're thought of as zeros, as less than, with zero to offer. And in fact, it's stamped on their chest, zero. So we just kind of play on that. We're a bunch of zeros making a bunch of zeros. Don't want to be accused of being a Casey Neistat. That's all I know. Because even as music, you're like, why does he get to use that music? You throw his music in, and everyone's like, oh, you're just
Yep.
So you got to find your own thing. And these are the things I think about and I get so afraid of.
That's the thing that I'm really excited about is just building noticeable brands through our different clients and giving them their own style.
Well,
How are you?
hi, Lisa.
Nice to meet you.
Aaron Watson.
Welcome.
This is Hannah Phillips.
Hi, Hannah. Very nice to meet you. We're gonna go back in the corner here. Let me just grab some more water.
Sure. This way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The lighting.
Good colors too.
Which Darren shared with you about PLF and who we are.
My big goal was to just really learn about PLF. He basically spoke very highly of you on multiple.
So that was the impetus
We've been
to.
buddies a long time. So we're a 40-year-old organization. We're an explicitly Christian organization. We were founded in 1978 by a man named Reed Carpenter, and Reed had come to Pittsburgh in the early 1960s. He first arrived here. He had an encounter with an Episcopal priest named Sam Shoemaker. And Sam was an interesting guy, and he was interviewed in 1955 by Time magazine. And they had a picture of him standing up on Mount Washington in the overlook that looks down over the city right in front of Mount St. Mary's Catholic Church. And the cover of the title on the magazine cover for that issue was God and Steel in Pittsburgh. And the article was not a long article, but there was a quote in there that became very compelling to a number of people who were coming to Pittsburgh, like Reed, who came a few years later. And the quote was, "The untapped conviction and belief in this city is worth more to it than all the coal in the hills and all the steel in the mills. If we could train and mobilize that force, Pittsburgh would become a spiritual pilot plant for America. One day, Pittsburgh will be more famous for God than for steel." Now that has changed. More famous for God than the Steelers, maybe now, I don't know. But it became a very almost prophetic word for people who wanted to do things in our city around bringing people together for the common good and all kinds of things. So PLF in 1978 was founded out of that vision.
So I want to just connect some more dots here. I'm using the line Pittsburgh as a net exporter of culture. And the reason I think that's possible, and part of the reason why is I also love the city. I think there's a lot of cool things happening here that can influence other people, but the tools at our disposal, the inexpensiveness of that camera, the ease at which I launched the podcast, and these other tools that we have available make it actually possible for somewhere other than an LA, a New York, a London to be driving culture in a meaningful way.
Yeah. Part of the beauty of the early network was that it was not, it wasn't a franchise, right? It wasn't a plug and play. It was designed intentionally around an understanding of the language I would use is you have to exegete your own city. And exegesis means to unpack and understand, right? And at the very core, of what a city is.
It's just I wish for every person who's ever lived to feel as in the zone as right now feels. That's the number one thing, more so than making money or anything like that. If you can just get into this pocket of having something people want, being able to offer it, and actually getting in front of people who can afford to buy it, that is and that's just scratching the surface. It's having your story being something that other people can tell and advocate for. Darren saw what I did in the podcast episode and like thought highly enough of me, and I guess doing the event too, to like want to recommend you.
Right.
Like having a story that other people will tell for you is the thing. It's the thing.